When I was little, my life seemed all perfect. A stable home, loving family, and food on the table. But there was something missing. My family has always been considered Christian, but church was never introduced to me, and we never really prayed only on holidays. I was baptized when I was little, so I knew we were Christian, but I didn't know what that meant until my great-grandfather gave me a cross necklace when I was 8 years old, and talked about what that meant and how God would always be there with me, and so would he. Unfortunately, a few months after, he got very sick, and on October 7th of 2014, my life changed forever, and my best friend left me and passed away. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be with anything, and I didn't want to be with God, and I blamed him for taking him away from me, and I just shifted completely away from Jesus. It was a very hard time and challenging time for me and my family, and I never wanted to go back. Finally, in middle school, I met a girl, and she invited me to church. I went to youth at this one church and thought God was finally coming back to me and that my grandfather was with me, and until I started realizing the environment that I was in. The pastor picked favorites and I was excluded. I was made fun of and I was picked on, and it was more about hanging out rather than being with God. I didn't feel comfortable there, and it brought me back to this very dark place of not feeling belonged in a community after trying very hard to go back to it. It took me 2 years to realize that that church that I was at was doing nothing but destroying my well-being, and I couldn't handle it anymore. After not being able to find a loving church home, a lot happened in my life. School was getting very tough to fight through. My friends who I thought were friends of mine went behind my back and bullied me, constantly getting picked onto my face and on social media about things that I couldn't myself control. I lost my self-worth going home to my mom and dad, crying, asking myself, why am I here and who wants me here? I didn't want to keep going. It went on for months and months, and I felt no presence of God once again, and I was really starting to think that maybe being a Christian isn't something that I'm worth doing. Until a miracle happened and I met somebody. I met a Riley. Riley is my best friend, and she invited me to New Walk Church, knowing the strength I needed in the struggle I was going through. I was telling her that I was scared and I didn't belong there and nobody wants me there, and she said to me, just go and try it, and so I did, and that day I was never the same person. I went the first time and was very scared, and so Pastor Rusty started the message, and the words were exactly, change is okay, God is going to guide you in the right direction, and he is calling you. Riley and Destiny brought me down to the stage and prayed for me that day. July 12th, I surrendered my life back to God, and I felt like a whole new person. I feel part of a family. I have a group of 11th grade girls who make me feel part of a family, and 2 amazing group leaders who text me constantly asking me how my day was and if I need anything, and I feel more connected to God than I have ever before. One of the most recent messages that I knew I wanted to include in my testimony was just from a few weeks ago. Pastor Rusty said that no matter what, choose joy. I believe that God has made things in my life happen so I can make the realization that in order to have the happy life, God throws in obstacles to make us stronger. Friends leave, people unfortunately will leave, but God will always be there with me, and he's given me an amazing parents that support me in everything I do, amazing group of friends who have brought me here, and this amazing church family that feels like a home. Ending off on my favorite Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all through him who gives me strength.